What's going on, guys? This is the Bangin' a Yui podcast here with our second episode. We're going to go over Brady and Gronk's leaving New England today, going over a little bit about the salary cap and how that affects decision-making for every team. We're also going to go over how these new-look teams will be with the players moving around and some predictions for each team. So starting off, I want to just go over the contracts that they received. So with Brady leaving, I don't think the Patriots in the first place could even cover Brady's contract because he wanted a big payout for some of his last years, which is understandable. I mean, I'm not really blaming the guy for that, but his new deal is worth 2 years worth $50 million guaranteed with all the incentives and all that. He has $9 million in incentives added on. So if he hits certain benchmarks throughout the year, the benchmarks have to do with like passing, hitting certain passing yard markage, hitting like touchdown averages and all that stuff. With his offense, he should be able to do that. He doesn't turn the ball over very much either, so I'm sure that's what they really want him to do. So it's $50 million guaranteed to a 43-year-old quarterback, though. That's a little much in my opinion. Just based on like how if he's going to stay healthy, if he's going to perform. In my opinion, I mean, watching the Patriots, being a Patriots fan for the last 20 whatever years since he's been here, he had an off year last year. In my opinion, he just didn't look like himself. Obviously, our offense wasn't up to par, but. Anyways, Gronk's contract, they picked it up off the Patriots because Gronk retired a year early. So he started with the contract of $10 million a year, which is the remaining of the contract that he had when he retired for the Patriots. So they picked that up when the Patriots traded him over. And like him too, he's a retired guy. So, I mean, for a year, he's been sitting on the couch. You don't really know how he's going to respond to coming back to the league if he's still in football shape. It takes a big toll on you. And I mean, last year he was complaining about how it made him depressed and how his body was hurting, this and that. So, what do you guys think about the departure, and why do you guys think that they left New England?
Want to get paid, baby. Nice weather, get paid.
Yeah, but that can't be the only reason. I just don't understand how at 43 – he's 43, right? He's 42, 43?
Yeah. He's going to be 43 before next year.
How at 43 after playing for one team for 20 years, your whole career, why get up and switch offenses, learn a whole new system? I get it. It's Tom Brady, but like, why? I don't get that.
I think it's to prove like that it's not Belichick and the reason why Brady's so good. I think he wants to prove that he can do it with another team and with a completely different offensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's more of just he wants to test himself because, yeah, like you said, he's been with us for 20 plus years. Like it's kind of just
I get that. But I just don't want to say, especially at 43. I can understand if this was like, he was in his mid, even maybe late 30s. But at 43, that's just crazy to me.
It is pretty late. It is pretty late.
Well, I mean, I'd say, again, like what Eddie said, I mean, it's Belichick's won a couple Super Bowls without Brady. I mean, not as a head coach, but, in general, he was a large part in the Giants Super Bowls that he was part of. So he basically just wants to break the stigma that he's not a system quarterback and Belichick doesn't make Brady. Basically, Brady's a great player. Which anybody who knows anything about football knows that, but ever since he got picked 199, it's been all about proving the doubters wrong. So, plus he got paid. I mean, it's one of the last paydays he's gonna get. Might as well ball out. He has a better offense, and he gets to get another chip off his shoulder.
Yeah, he's getting paid way more in Tampa, right?
Yeah, he's getting like an extra $15 million a year.
He's getting $50 million guaranteed, like all guaranteed. No matter if he gets hurt the first play, like anything that happens, like he gets $50 million, walks regardless. Like he could walk on the field the first snap his leg, and they still owe him $50 million. It's crazy.
Yeah, what is it? What you said that was a 2-year contract for $50 million?
2-year contract. He's been saying that he wants to play till he's 45, which is a really old age, obviously. But like obviously he's done impressive things at an old age. Last year it looked like he fell off a little bit, not completely, but like I just think he was obviously a little uncomfortable with our offense, but. I think that just $50 million guaranteed to a guy that's 43 is just tough to cough up as a Patriots like decision maker. Like I just don't think that I would be paying him that much. And as unfortunate as it sounds, he's the greatest ever. Obviously, he's done so many incredible things for us. He deserved a payday. But like from a franchise standpoint, like if he went down, like that would sink the franchise for God knows how long. So like the Bucs are in trouble. I mean, they got $60 million invested into 2 players that could not even last the whole year. So I don't know. It's just it's a Bucs thing to do. I'm really not surprised that they did something like that to secure them.
They definitely up for a play.
I don't know. I mean, it's just tough. Like Brady's contract, the $50 million puts him in. He's the 10th biggest contract in the league that's still active right now. With the guys like Matt Ryan's contract is crazy. He has a $94.5 million contract. But a lot of these guys got these payouts when they were in their young, like prime years, and they're like long-term extended deals. Like he's getting $50 million in 2 years. A lot of these guys have been on deals for 6-7 years, you know. So I just think it's a lot of guaranteed money for not 100% sure how he'll play, you know.
Yeah, I feel like the Tampa Bay is definitely taking a risk here because you know they spent this much money on 2 players. One, Gronk hasn't played in a year, and we all know Gronk.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady's 43 years old, so they're banking off a Super Bowl within these next 2 years.
Yeah.
Even when Gronk did play, he only played like half a season. I think he only played 1 complete season his whole career.
Gronk is gonna be fucking ass next year. You gotta be playing. You gotta be playing in the game setting. Like I know practice is fun and all, and like it helps you, but you gotta be in the fucking game. You gotta be. No, he hasn't had to like get hit in the game setting for a year. You know what I mean? Like getting hit in a practice setting is different than getting hit in a game setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like he's like he hasn't played in a real fucking football game in a year. Like scrimmages, but like scrimmages ain't the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And from pictures I've
No,
seen,
100%.
skinny.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's not like anybody, even like any sports player. You just can't go like take a year off and then practice and then go into a game situation and still think you'd be good.
I mean, even Michael Jordan, who was still playing professional baseball, when he took that year and a half off from basketball, it took him the remaining half of that season and part of the beginning season following that to even get back in full shape.
So I feel like he might not be so. I don't think he's going to contribute that much. I mean, yeah, he has the body, he has size, he has like he's kind of fast, not as fast, but
I think he's got a big.
The last couple of years in New England, I thought he was tough. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he was basically just that big guy that opened up the field just because, for namesake, you know, he's a freak. He really didn't do that well besides in the playoff run, especially in that Super Bowl.
I think people are kind of downplaying like the falling out between like Brady and Belichick. I think it was just like there's way more to the story that like we don't know.
Oh, I totally agree, Noah.
The guy just doesn't pick up and leave. He doesn't pick up and leave after all that time for no reason, like just because you want to get paid. I don't even think it's just about that. I think it's more.
Yeah, no, I
won't
agree.
Come up till after Brady retires, a long time from now. He'll probably like write a book or something like that.
He will.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll get all the info.
Gonna tell all.
To me, dude, like it's just looking at like Gronk coming out of retirement the second that Brady leaves the team too just shows like I think that they wanted to do their own thing somewhere else. They were tired of being under Belichick's like control. Belichick's not a guy that literally like caves to his star players. Like he makes the calls. He does what he wants to do. Like if you're not playing well, you're getting cut, you're getting benched. You know what I mean? Like they just didn't want to live to that standard. They wanted to go to a team where he could literally just bully his way to the top and do whatever he wants. Like Brady and Gronk are going to run that team over there. And then
I mean they're butt buddies. They're going to go ride the butt buddy wave on the pirate ship.
I agree. Yeah, they were tired. They were tired of putting the grind. I think Brady wants something handed to him. I think he's done with grinding with the Patriots because the Patriots bring up grinders. He wanted something handed to him. He wanted the star receivers. He wanted the the Gronk star coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted all this thing handed back to him, and he just wanted to run his own thing and be down in the nice Florida weather with Giselle, so then his kids can make out again.
Yeah,
I mean, they can win games as long as he doesn't go 30 for 30 like Jameis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why they got him in. Like, obviously, I love Tommy Boy still, but it's just like hard to see him after all this time, pack up and leave. So it was tough. But even if still, like Gronk decided to come back for the Patriots only had $2.1 million in cap space. His contract was $10 million coming back, so they would either had to cut him, cut other players, or trade him immediately. So
we would have had to get rid of Hightower or Gilmore just to afford him. And that's a guy. That's basically a retired player. I mean, Bill flipped the fourth for it. He could have possibly but. I mean, it is what it's better than nothing, I guess.
It is, yeah. I mean, what can you do? I mean, they're just rebuilding the team right now a little bit since him leaving. I just feel like they're just stacking up for the future and getting as many draft picks as possible. And I think they made some good picks.
There he is.
Not at all.
No free ads. There he is with the Friday Bears hat coming in hot.
It's all up on Thursday.
Hey, it's almost there. Hey, we sip anyways, brother.
It's Friday, Junior.
Well, is either White Mountain still there, Noah? No, not even a White Mountain kid.
Here you go, Al.
Nah, I'm a dry guy right now. Going dry guy on a Thursday.
You're sponsored by White Mountains. You should put like a little mountain in the corner.
I know, it's tough. I should be sponsored. I should be sponsored.
Yeah. So do you guys not like working off of that? Do you guys think that Gronk came out of retirement, seeing Brady in the new situation, thought he could just instead of having to go under Belichick and all that stuff, he just wanted to come back because this was perfect timing since Brady escaped?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
most definitely.
Brady definitely called him. He's like, "Look, this is like going to be the last contract I play on. Like, we have a loaded team. Just come get a free Super Bowl, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll blow you a little bit too. Don't worry about it, buddy."
Yeah. No, honestly, I do think it was all planned out. I think Brady, honestly, maybe even threw in the towel early, like last season, like during, like I do not think.
No,
he
they was saying he said in interviews he knew it was probably gonna be his last year after the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I mean his effort just didn't look like it was there sometimes. So like that bothered me last year because that's not like what he usually looks like. So.
I mean, you could see it. He was frustrated. There was a lot of young guys in the offense, a lot of, not a whole lot of talented. They're a little bit banged up, but there was a lot of times he was just forcing it deep. And, we've never seen him force the ball before. He would just take it underneath stuff that was there.
Bill's system is more like completion. Like completion, just get passes and go. No, no long.
Yeah, they ran a lot of dink and dunk type offense, but then last year he was just making stupid passes.
That's probably why I think we don't really I think honestly, Pats might not even need Brady because what Bill does is that's his fucking offense. He doesn't run his offense through a fucking QB. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean
that's gonna be the big thing for the Pats is those young guys developing. They just gotta prove it. They don't really have much experience, but luckily they have the best coach to do that for them.
Yeah,
the guy's
I know
really
some of you
great
guys
player development.
don't think highly of him, but I think Stidham could be the guy. I think he looked great all preseason. I watched every preseason game really closely. He looked unreal. He came in for that one play against the Jets. I know, Al, you were there and watched Jamal take it to the
I precisely know.
In the flesh.
You got to think.
I saw Mr. Maul go for 6.
President Maul to the house, baby.
This guy was sitting on the bench the entire game. Brady ran up to score 30-0, and he came in ice cold and threw a pick to one of the best.
Yeah, that is tough. That is tough to go into the game that late by sitting there the whole time.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting to get in at all, so I don't use that as a judgment against him. He's also a welcome.
Yeah,
that's a.
But here's my thing.
NFL moment,
Here's my thing: is if he came in late in the game. Very thankfully, the game that we would end up killing them in. What happens if he comes out into a game against some of the better top half defenses in the league and does that in the first quarter? Then what happens?
We should ignore Alex's picture. What the hell?
No, I saw it. That's why I was saying he's sick. I don't want to cut anyone off.
It's Noah. That's what it is.
Yeah. How'd you know, bro?
Yeah, I mean that's very true too, Al. I can definitely see where there's definitely a little worry there. We haven't seen him in the regular season much, and it is a different change, getting the top players on each team out there against you. But if you did watch the preseason at all, he was impressive. He made very impressive throws, showed some athleticism too, which we've never had with Brady. I think they could do a lot with this new offense. I think these second-year players will take a step forward. Hopefully, Sanu will find his hands. He didn't eat popcorn before the game.
We still have that bum.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, oh yeah, and he has a fat contract too that we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the way I see it, when Brady joined the Pats his first year when he was drafted, he was the 4th quarterback on the depth chart. So if 4th stringer can come in and become a Hall of Famer, then anybody can have a fair shake.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he makes me
It's
eat my
also
words.
one in a million, though. It's also one in a million.
I know.
Because you've seen what's happened to some of the other guys who've come in the league as backups, and they just.
No, I know, but I don't think Brady's a system quarterback, but this kind of ties into the system itself. Is Belichick tailors the system towards his players to best succeed? So that's how he's able to get shit bums every year of Walmart guys and make a good team. When we had Matt Castle in 2008, we still had 11 wins. So.
Oh yeah,
And that team, you can argue, is just as talented as this team is right now, give or take Randy Moss.
It's a great point, Mike. Yeah, I just think that Belichick knows how to play the skill sets. That also concerns me with Brady then going to Bruce Arians' offense in the Bucs. Bruce Arians, he threw the ball. I mean, he's a huge pass-heavy offense guy. Brady can't throw the ball 50 times a game. He's 43 years old. His arm's gonna blow out. He can't do that. So I wonder how they're gonna incorporate the run.
How's Tampa's line? Offensive line.
They drafted no lineman.
They just got Wirfs, I think.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs. They drafted him at 14 and 15, I think.
Good topic.
I mean, they're building up that line a little bit to help them, and they drafted Keyshawn Vaughn too with the 3rd round, who's a running back that is a 3-down back that can actually block really well.
Yeah.
People are thinking that he's going to be the next starter there, other than Ronald Jones. Peyton Barber also left town too, so I mean, it's just those two really. And I think that Keyshawn Vaughn will probably win that job, but regardless, I just don't think Brady. I don't think Brady can play and throw 50 times a game like Bruce Arians wants, because like that's how he runs his offense. He runs the air attack. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that's the best system.
That's the only reason Jameis made it to 30 touchdowns is because he had so many opportunities to get the ball out.
Exactly. I mean, he had the terrible eyes, but still.
You got that LASIK.
Yeah, they had that LASIK surgery. He's back now.
I'll take Breeze's job.
He's off the LASIK and the crab legs.
I seriously can't.
Moving on a little bit into just a little bit of the salary cap situation the Patriots are in. It's pretty surprising, I believe, that like we have this little salary cap. Like right now, the Patriots are second in the league, second to last in the league in available salary cap, only behind the Chiefs, who literally have like a penny, which makes sense. But their roster's loaded; they don't really need much help right now. But the Patriots only have $2.8 million in cap. That was of April. So I just think that with losing Tom Brady, losing Gronk,
where's all this money going to though?
Updated today, Vin. I think they're under $1 million because they just signed Anthony Jennings, Josh Uch, and Woodard. Another draft pick.
Yeah, they're gonna end up being like close to nothing. I mean, they're gonna after signing the rookies and the guys we picked up. Like, I just don't think we're gonna have much money at all. But like, think about the guys that left: Tom Brady, Gronk, Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins, Steven Gostowski. Like, those are guys that are like pivotal.
Landon Roberts too.
Yeah, Landon Roberts. Like, all those guys like played a good amount for us, and they were solid pieces, and they had decent contracts. You would think that. You would think with a little over 198 million for each team that we'd have some cap left after losing all those guys. But the amount
it's
of
all dead money.
Yeah,
it's all dead money and cap hits.
Yeah,
cap savings.
Yeah, so the dead money, if anybody doesn't know what that means, it's just money paid to players that aren't on the team anymore, but are still guaranteed to them in their contract. So the Patriots are currently stuck with $26 million in dead cap, which is third most in the league behind the Panthers and Jaguars.
Same.
It's a bad hit.
I mean, we have almost 30 million in dead cap from we have almost 20 just from Tom and Antonio Brown, and then a little less from some of the other people.
Antonio Brown,
but
kidding me?
Dude, Antonio Brown still makes almost $5 million in dead cap for us.
Right? Yeah, it's 4.7. 4.7 million.
Yep.
Yeah, he pulled a fast one on the Pats, guys. That was bad.
He did.
You gotta pay me. Might as well play me.
Woman.
Antonio Brown and Michael Bennett played a combined 7 games for the Patriots, and they take up about $7 million in cap.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Business is booming.
Yeah, it's booming, all right.
Now he's gonna go play with your boy Lamar.
I know.
Action.
Can't wait to get my jersey.
We haven't moved Thuney yet, right? He's still here.
We still have Phil.
Trying to sign him so they can restructure his contract, so it won't be as much of a hit.
I need to go fucking get a Brady jersey.
Well, we franchise tagged him, right?
Yeah, the
He's franchise tagged for $14 million, but they're trying to re-sign him so they can make it less money this year and more. Like, give me like a 4 or 5 year deal. It'll be less money per year, but he'll still get paid like, as much as he's worth.
Yeah,
if he's signed, what happens to the franchise tag that we was like? He got franchise tag, which is supposed to be $14 million. What happens to that?
It just gets removed. It's based on the contract that we structure with him.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of tough too because if we don't fix that contract and extend him, the contract is worth almost $15 million. And the thing with the franchise tag is 100% guaranteed. So
it is.
So that's $15 million in dead money right there because it's guaranteed. So I mean, well, obviously he's still here now. But...
Well, not if it gets restructured though. That's only if it doesn't get restructured.
If it does, he'll want a decent payday though. He was a great player.
Yeah, he's probably looking at like minimum $10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, I feel like they're still till right now trying to deal him. I just don't think there's any way we sustain him.
Yeah, no, unless he takes a team-friendly deal, there's no way.
Yeah, see, Brady's dead cap too kills us. I mean, $13.5 million for Brady, and it's just because we reconstructed his deal with the money that he was supposed to get. It was originally a 2-year deal. We restructured it to 1 with the hopes of extending him, and we never did. So all that money is still guaranteed to him. So we have to pay that $13.5 million, which is huge. I mean, obviously it's Brady. It's well spent money, but like now that he's gone, like it's just a killer,
Now, is that paid throughout this whole year? Like that will be gone.
That'll be gone for next year. Yeah, that 13.5 goes against the cap this year. So yeah, that goes into next year. So now next year we'll have over 100 million in free cap space because a lot of these guys that we have now are on rookie deals. We're getting rid of all the dead cap. The dead cap will be gone after this year. I'm pretty positive about that. And then they're going to obviously cut some other guys after this season as well. So I mean, we're going to be looking at a really hefty cap allotment for next year, which is going to be good. We can just rebuild if we do have an off year. I don't think this year will be as bad as many people think that it will be. I think that we're going to figure it out and we're going to make Stidham as comfortable as possible.
There is absolutely 100%. I love the Patriots. I'm going to love them for a long time. I'm still going to try to go to as many games as I can afford. Me, personally, I feel like there is absolutely 100% zero. There's no way we win game one against the Dolphins. No, not even that. They have made so many moves this offseason, and we've lost so much that I just don't think there's any way we beat them, especially coming out week one fresh out of the gates against them.
You could also argue, though, because a lot of those guys are new to the system, that's going to take a while for them to adjust and play together as a team, whereas most of the Patriots have already done that. And also with the Dolphins, you don't know how well Tua's going to play if he plays at all. So they might have Fitzpatrick in, which I know he looked amazing that last game, but he's consistently bad.
That's true.
Is that
first game in Miami, though?
No, it's home.
That's the key. That's the key question.
Because we played them week 12 at Miami, right?
Yeah,
we actually lost at home. we won in Miami and we lost at home last year, which is weird. It's usually the other way around.
To me, it's just like I think everybody is so down on the Patriots that I would not be surprised if Belichick's going to use that to fuel the fire. They're going to figure some things out. I think it might take a little time. I agree, but
that's what I'm saying.
Even if we don't win the division, would say like the Bills making first place, which is more likely than not to happen. I mean, the Bills are a really solid roster all the way through. I think the Patriots can win enough games to maybe secure a wild card spot, especially with the 7 playoff teams from each conference now.
I feel that way about
They might play a big role this year.
Say that again?
That 7th seed might play a big role this year. 'Cause I don't think we're going to be terrible. I do
not think we're going to be terrible. Our defense will 100%, in my opinion, still be top 10 in the league, top 5. Our defense will still be fine. And then our offense, I think they're going to run some different things and try to make him as comfortable as possible. I think it might take a little time, but I think he will.
James Devlin was gone. James Devlin was gone most of last year, right? He was out.
Yeah, he didn't play at all, I don't think.
He was out since like week 6, I believe.
I was going to say he got between a few and a handful of games and then he was gone for the rest of the season. So
he's huge with the run game.
That's what I'm saying.
They like to adapt week to week. Like they're not like every week we're just going to throw the shit out of the ball. Like they like to be able to run the ball and pass the ball to keep the defenses off balance. And once they lost Devlin, it was completely out the window, and their receivers just were not up to par to be able to throw the ball consistently.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, Sony racked up. He got by the end of the year it was like 900-something yards, right, Mike?
Yeah, he still got 900 yards somehow. He looked like if you watch the games, he did not look good at all, and he still got close to 1,000 yards, which is insane.
Yeah. So I don't think his numbers go up at all by any means, especially with the loss of Devlin, who's in our offense played a great part of the run game. And I just feel like since it almost felt like every team was just so ready for James White out of the backfield last year.
That was a big part of Gronk leaving is James White was able to go out wide with a linebacker, and get the mismatch there. But then since Gronk left, they didn't have to put a linebacker on Gronk and White. They were able to work like a nickel if they wanted to, even just not cover a receiver because they weren't that good. And they can move either the best coverage linebacker or one of the nickel corners onto White to give him a good coverage. Because he was easily, if not our best, our second best receiver after Edelman. And I only say possibly our best just because Edelman was pretty banged up and he struggled with some drops last year.
But business was booming.
Yeah, that one game.
So, week 1, we come out against the Dolphins, and they picked up. So, if this is correct, they picked up. I know they picked up Kyle Van Noy from us, obviously.
And Roberts.
They signed Byron Jones with a huge deal, right? Early in the year.
Yeah, he's like the highest paid corner now, unless Darius end up overtaking him when he got signed. Or
I can't remember. I think I don't know. Byron Jones got what, like, Byron Jones probably got like 30 million or something like that, right?
Yeah, he has a very good deal.
So, I mean, obviously, we play Kyle Van Noy, right? And then we play. I mean, he's been in our. He knows kind of what we're gonna run. Obviously, Bill's not gonna run it for him. He's not gonna give him the same game plan. I just feel like. Plus, they have Emmanuel Ogba and Shaq Lawson. So I just feel like when it's going to take time before we really get the gears going, and I just don't think – I'm not saying we're going to do terrible, but I really think – like, honestly, I'm thinking in the range of 500.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the record
over.
saying they'll probably be lucky if they end up winning 9, maybe 10 games, but I'm looking at either 8-8 or 9-7.
I said it before. I did the guys in my work wanted a prediction on my thoughts on the Pats schedule, and I said 9 wins. That's
we got voted with the hardest schedule as well, so that doesn't help us at all. We get some
I mean, anyways, just to add to that, I think somehow like the Jets are just going to be the Jets, and the Bills are just going to be the Bills, and they're just going to like drop stupid games, and it's just going to work out how it always does. Yeah, it'll be closer than normal, but I still think the Jets are just going to blow it, and the Bills are just going to blow it somehow.
Yeah,
I think the Jets will blow it, but the Bills might be the real deal now because they got the coach, they got that defense, which got another year to develop, and they just had Stephon Diggs on that offense, so it's not just entirely John Brown.
Yeah,
and
I could see that.
Singletary is actually pretty good. He's a quick speed.
No, he's definitely good. But the Jets are 100% definitely going to be the Jets. Like Sam Darnold is a dumpster fire. Like they're terrible. I don't care who they are.
I can give you 2 guaranteed losses. Count them 2. 100%, and another one is going to be Week 6 against the Niner gang. Just wanted to throw that in there because
and we got to play
we are
the
not
Chiefs
going to
too, and the Seahawks,
and the Ravens,
and the Ravens,
and action.
Yeah,
and
no, there's no question we have like the hardest schedule in the league. I mean, it's already been talked about how the Patriots got screwed with that already.
This fucking schedule is ridiculous.
Yeah, we have
the league's not a joke anymore either. Like,
but is it even
on those Jets and the Bills games that get the wins anymore?
They got the easiest schedule last year, though. So is it even really that unfair? Like it was an absolute cakewalk last year. Like the Redskins. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, you could argue it wasn't that weak of a schedule, other than the Dolphins, the Redskins, and the Bengals. And even still, we always lose.
It was pretty bad.
The competition was pretty good.
Was like
Rams with the new and improved logo. By new and improved, I mean absolutely caca.
I just
disgusting.
I just think that they can surprise some people. I would personally be even happy with them going 9-7 for the year. I think with the new quarterback coming in and a lot of young guys around the roster, 9-7 is pretty impressive to me.
Well, we're gonna get 17 games this year, right?
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure if that's
what they're planning on.
They're planning on doing that, but with this whole COVID-19 situation going on, like it's like a little bit of a mess. They don't really know what's going to be installed. But I just know the playoff thing is for sure. That 7 seeds for each conference is for sure. Like, so I think that might.
That's 100%. Like, there's going to be a 7 team in the playoff this year.
Yeah, there'll be 7
the extra game.
Yeah,
and I think
the first seed will get the bye.
I personally think 9 wins is very generous, and I think that's the top. Not very generous. I think it's a little bit generous, and it's top of the bar for us. I mean, I just don't see us getting. I mean, I don't see us getting 12 wins, 13 wins.
I think it depends on how good Stidham is and how much of a leap that Harry can make. Because he vastly underperformed last year, but he also was a very small sample size. And Stidham, it's tough for any quarterback coming right into the league, regardless if you're a number 1 pick or not. Or
especially when you throw a pick 6 to President Mall, like the second down ever. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Trying to fill big shoes as well.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
It's a young team. It's typically what the Patriots do. They reload to the draft, and mostly is that they won the Super Bowl. It was, most of the guys were from the draft, and it took a couple of years. It doesn't just come together in one season.
Yeah.
If you think about it, though, some of the best quarterbacks in history have started off their careers with either a pick or a pick 6. I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning's first pass was a pick, and then Brett Favre's first pass was a pick 6. So it is not like an automatic, like, oh, he just sucks from that point on. Like, I think we got to give him a shot for this year, see how he does. if he gets us to 9-7, I'm honestly really happy with that.
He's going to have more preparation and work this time. Like
Dude, I mean, he's going to be working his ass off. Like, I know if I was in his shoes and I had that opportunity, I'd be working like a motherfucker right now. Like, he's probably going hard. And obviously the Patriots see something in him. They didn't draft anybody. They signed a couple undrafted like bums, but like they're not going to make the roster most likely. It's probably going to be him and Hoyer with the starting like the two quarterbacks that we have in our roster for this year.
Yeah, but Sam Darnold also threw a pick on his first down too.
No. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that by any means that he'll be good. But I'm just saying there is some guys that look like shit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they've gotten a lot better. I mean, like I said, it might.
I always say, I hope he makes me eat my words. I hope he turns out to be nasty.
All these words are eaten, and he just completely eats, and we win the division again. Hopefully.
I don't think so.
You never know.
You never know. Crazy shit happens in the NFL. The league's packed with good teams this year, so it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But even looking at the roster still, like who's getting a lot of money still, like we have like Hightower making an average $9 million a year without all the guarantees and all that. So like $9 million a year, he might be gone next year. He might retire. Edelman making an average $8 million a year with his percentage of what he usually earns, which is he could also be gone next year. If we don't have a good year, I could definitely see him walking and retiring or join the parade. Go down to the Buccaneers again.
New England South.
Huge chunk of money tied. Are you just talking about players with big? We got a lot of money.
Contracts on the Pats, yeah.
We have a ton of money signed into Gilmore.
Yeah, well, Gilmore's still a stud. Like I don't care about paying a stud good money, but if he regresses, then we might have to move him.
True, that's true. He was talking about guys that were paying. I mean, how much did we give Sanu?
Guys who are really living up to the money, basically.
Sanu was like 2 years for a handful of millions, right?
Well, yeah. Well, this is his contract.
I think they gave him a lot of money.
This is his contract. It's so his total value on his contract is $32.5 million, but the thing is, only 43% of that is guaranteed. So the rest of it's all incentives. Obviously, he missed all of his incentives last year, so he didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
He sucked last year. But if he has the potential to be good, so I'm hoping he really comes out and plays well for us because we Stidham needs some help,
He's a great number 3 guy. Like that's basically what he's been. He's been like at most number 2 if he was lucky, but a solid number 3 guy. Yeah. So I mean, they're really riding on Harry to take that leap this year, especially since we used a first rounder on last year.
Yeah, I saw some promise.
He showed a couple of flashes.
Yeah. I think he could definitely take a step forward. Edelman will be our rock. He'll be the leader for the offense, of course. And then I think I love our run, like our backfield. I think our run game will be good. I know, Al, you said that you think that Michelle might lose a lot of yards and not get as many as last year or whatever. I think maybe the opposite. I think that they're going to be run heavy this year. They drafted 2 tight ends in the draft. I think they're going to go back to the double tight end set. They're going to run the ball a shit ton, open up the play action for Stidham, who's a very more of a mobile quarterback that we've never had before. So I think they're going to run the ball even more. So I think with the amount of attempts he gets, he might actually have more yards. James White's always going to be there for the security blanket. And also he could really benefit off the play action as well. So I just think that they're going to go more run heavy this year. So for that reason, I think might have a year.
Then my question for you is, so I don't think he's going to lose a huge chunk, but I just don't think he's going to surpass it because can Sony Michel really handle that workload?
Yeah, he's had some knee problems in the past too. So that's also concerning. If he goes down, then we get a little bit thin at running back because James White's
that's exactly what I'm saying is are they really going to risk him trying to give him a prime Todd Gurley workload when if we lose him, our next power rushing back is who? James White?
Brandon Bolden probably.
Yeah, James White actually ran the ball better than Sony last year. My only issue with Sony is that he's not like as big or as strong as the other guys. He's more of like a shifty back. So you either need the linemen that are agile and they can move downfield, which we pretty much have that in our guards. You know what I mean? But the fullback comes in huge in that situation. He needs that lead blocker. It really just depends if either Johnson or Vitale, who are the 2 fullbacks we have right now, they can at least play as well as Devlin.
Yeah. No,
he needs big brother in front of him.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why they took 2 tight ends in this year's job. I think they want to load up that line and run those crazy I formation sets where they can just open up play action, pound the rock. The Patriots really like to run the ball. Even when we had Brady, they always mix in the run heavy, like 50 to 60% of the game. I feel like they were always safer with the run. They're just not a team that likes risking the ball with deep shots downfield, stuff like that. So I think that if Michel can stay healthy, he can have a very good year. And if he does go down, we're going to have to probably bring in someone else to help out with the workload. But He if we protect him and we spread the ball around, do we still have Rex Burkhead on the roster? Anybody know that?
We still have Burkhead. He has
Yeah.
pretty good though.
Who's that top guy?
Our top guy is Michelle. Our top guy is Sonny Michelle.
The cross-eyed dude.
Yeah, he looks like a frog. Yeah, him. But
I mean, if Stidham fails, we always have GOAT Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer knows the offense, man. He's comfortable. He's a vet.
Yeah, that's to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Stidham takes a step forward. We don't need to get to Mr. Hoyer, but we'll see. But do you guys where do you guys think the Bucs will finish, like, in top offense and top defense? Do you think they're going to be one of the top offenses this year? Like, I know their defense is not that strong.
Very easily.
And all is a question of how well Tom Brady plays.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because they have the talent. There's no reason why they're not the top offense or one of the top offenses.
He talk.
All right.
Fuck.
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir, Nicholas. I just think they're guaranteed a lock at one of, if not the top offense, because Brady, he's going to work like a bastard no matter what team he's on, and I just feel like he's out to prove something. Because
I agree.
It feels like he always has had to, and I just feel like now more than ever, because he knows, obviously he's a celebrity. Everyone, even when guys in the NFL that you play against are saying you're the GOAT, I mean, it kind of says something there versus people's opinions on the internet. And I just feel like he knows that, but I feel like he knows that people are out there on a 50-50 that they're saying it's always he's only done that good because of Belichick, or Belichick's only done that good because of him.
Yeah.
There's still that question, though, looming is, will he eventually hit a cliff and just fall off? I mean, we haven't seen it. It's been unprecedented. But, people have been saying it for years. Obviously, a lot of haters, and he's proved them wrong.
Yeah.
But, Father Time is up to everybody, so you never know.
That's what I've been wondering is, so he's on 2 years with the Bucs. What if what if in that 2 years he sucks next year and doesn't, not sucks, but he takes a steep decline, and then what if he calls it quits then?
Then they blew $50 million. They blew a whole bag on nothing. Like,
this is something. This is what we talked about, man. I mean, like, you checked in a little bit late because we talked about this earlier, but like we were saying how $60 million on Brady and Gronk, and that's without incentives too. Like, they can make more than that. So like all that stuff like will be tossed to the garbage. Like, and for $60 million, two players, like teams only have like a little under $200 million in cap. So like that's two players that take up almost $100 million of their cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's unquestionable that they are not thinking long term and they're out to win for the city right now.
Yeah, they want to win right now, 100%.
There's unquestionable. There's very easily
They're desperate, man.
That's exactly what it is. It's desperate.
Hey, and also at the same time, this is going to sell tickets, bro. Like, the Buccaneers have been one of the most terrible franchises for so long. They're going to sell tickets. They're going to make all the money in the world. They're going to sell every game. Jersey sales will be through the roof. Everything. So
let me run the Google right now on how much Brady Buccaneers jerseys have sold.
Oh, probably like wild.
Yeah, it's probably ridiculous.
It's Tampa. They besides in hockey, they always take the backseat to Miami.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Tampa's obviously the only hockey team besides the Florida Panthers, but in all their sports, the major sports, they always take the backseat to Miami. Even the Dolphins, they were ahead of Tampa. You know what I mean? Nobody's a Tampa fan.
100%. Yeah.
The only sport they're half decent in right now is baseball. Tampa Rays are nice, but other than that,
Lightning.
So,
and the Lightning. My bad.
They're one of those teams.
I mean,
but they also got swept by Columbus in the first round. So
they proved nothing. They proved nothing. Neither have the Rays, but the Rays were a pretty solid team last year. But let's get back on track. Where do you see the teams finishing in the division, like compared to the Brady-led Buccaneers and also with the Patriots? Instead, I'm leading them. What do you guys think?
The NFC South is going to be tough. It's a tough division. All those teams are good.
I think between the NFC South,
he's still going on.
The only team that could potentially, if the Buccaneers do come out the gates 100%, Brady's throwing lobbing TDs like he's not even trying. I think NFC South, the only team that can stack up against them is the Saints. And I can't guard Mike. I mean, but I just think it's Panthers and Falcons in that division. So Panthers
suck.
I mean, They ran CMC into the ground. I mean, if they do that for another season, the poor guy's health is probably going to decline real soon.
He's going to be throwing to himself.
The Falcons, I
He
mean,
already is.
what did the Falcons finish last year? Like what? Like barely over 500?
I think they finished 8-8 or 9-7, something like that. I think 8.
Yeah, so
Pretty sure 8.
500 or barely over.
They would completely.
So I just don't think. I just think
100.
this is
I think
also
it was
fuel for the
7
Saints.
7 million.
I think it's also a huge fuel for the Saints. You know, Brady comes in the division and everyone's, Drew Brees kind of thinks that everyone's going to forget about him just because Brady's the new rave with the
I think
crazy
it's
offense.
him off. I think they're going to go off. Dude, I don't know if you guys have seen, but
exactly.
the rumors out that the Saints are playing the Bucs the first game of the season. So
Yeah. I think for our division, for the AFC East,
I'd spend money to go watch that game.
honestly, all right. So I'm gonna say Jets last. I just think we're all better team. The three other teams are way better teams than them. I just think, I mean, it's hard to say because Mike made a good point that not all these guys might catch on, but I think it's real easy for the Dolphins to finish number 2 if their guys catch on quick. I just think.
I think it's Bills, Pats, Dolphins close third, and Jets.
That's my guess. I think the Pats will get a wild card spot in the playoffs, and they'll be finish 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah, I just think
I could see it.
Dolphins are easily 2 to 3. I just think it just depends.
I think
they have all these big names. They have the talent. I mean, it just depends how.
They do have some big names. I just feel like they do have some Patriots coaching there, Brian Flores. So maybe he'll bring up some of the Patriots ways and fix that team quickly. But with the young quarterback too coming in there, I don't know if he's going to start right away. But on top of that, it usually takes a little bit for young quarterback to figure things out. Same with the Pats. So I mean, it could go either way for us too. But I feel like our coaching scheme is better. We have Bill. We have other guys that can probably mold the offense better for him. Does
Bills Mafia run the division now?
I do think Bills will win the division this year just from how deep their team is. And I don't know. Our schedule is just really tough too. So I don't like our schedule. And that really ties into how we're going to finish in the division this year. But I think with the 7-team playoff format, I think we will squeak in there in the AFC. That's my prediction.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can agree with that. I think if we at least stay 500, we can squeak into that 7th seed, 6th.
Chances that the Dolphins run the division?
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's going to take time for them.
Probably slim.
I think they'll finish. What did they finish with? 6 wins last year? 5, 6? I think 5. I think they have 5 wins. I would not be surprised if they finish with 6, 7.
I'd give them at most 9.
I would give them at most 8. I just do not see the Dolphins taking that big of a leap in one year. I would say 6, 7, or 8 is my guess. That range, 6 to 8. That's where I think they'll finish. I think they'll be a little better than last year, but not anything to get them in the playoffs. That's what I think will happen with them.
Was it the Dolphins that the guy retired at halftime? Or was that the Bills?
That was Bills.
That was so funny, dude.
Retired at halftime.
Yeah, just went in at the half. Just said they won. That's it.
Kenny,
I've seen enough.
Or all you guys, I think I got a funny. This is coming right from Ian Rappaport. I just want to throw it in there. I think you guys think this is great. So sales of Brady's merch spiked. This was from April 8th at 10 a.m. Sales of Brady's merch spiked over 3,000% day to day. Brady is top-selling athlete across all sports, and Bucs are top-selling team.
Yep, there it is. And this is exactly what's part of the plan. The Bucs don't even care about like Brady taking all that cap up because he brings so much money into their team anyway. So like, maybe they win. I don't know.
They're gonna have
I don't know.
If they win, you're gonna see Nick on Broadway in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Nick's flying down.
I'll be the biggest Bucs fan. If the Bucs and the friggin' Ravens, I'm gonna be very conflicted. Either way,
that's a tough look. That's a tough look.
Either way, I'll get a parade, no doubt.
Nick, you might have to get tickets to Super Bowls in Tampa this year.
I'll fly you up, bro.
At the Tampa.
Fly you out to Houston?
And they're playing at their home turf.
Fly your ass out to Houston.
Say it won't. Say it won't go by. Let me see how much Tampa Bay.
I will be right
there.
Right now, they're probably fucking $10.
So what if it's Brady versus Action? Are you going, Nick? Are you in there 100%?
I'll still be happy.
I know.
Just go and enjoy the game. It doesn't matter who wins.
Yeah, I'm still going to the parade.
As
Absolutely.
long as both teams have fun, that's okay.
That's right.
As long as it's competitive.
Doesn't even matter.
To wrap things up now, just going into one more thing that I think that everybody's a little curious about too. How do you think Gronk will be coming back in? Do you think Gronk will be the same Gronk, or do you think he's going to take a step back, a step forward on the new team? What do you guys think?
I think he'll be ass. I think they'll use him only in the red zone.
I thought he was ass the last year with us. So
So if you want to call me crazy, like, go ahead. But I don't think he's ever been the same since he got blown up like by Earl Thomas like a couple of years ago in that Seattle game in Seattle in the regular season.
I know what you're talking about.
When he got absolutely
that was a
ran
while
over.
ago.
He has not been the same since then.
Yeah, I think he's having a hard time like getting back into it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think
Just so many injuries just add up.
he's made a paper and glass right now. I mean,
Man, now he's half robot.
he really is.
Yeah,
He really is.
That's tough.
I just, after a year, like Joe said before, after a year of just sitting on a couch, I mean, it's really hard to just jump back in and play with all these young stud athletes. Like, I don't know. He's 31. He's not young. I mean, he's not old by any means, but he's not young. And, I mean, taking a year off, he lost a ton of weight. I'm sure he's going to be putting that back on. He has probably the best trainers and the dietary technicians, like, in the world, like, to help him out gain weight and put his muscle back on. But, like, regardless, though, I just don't see him being the same. I agree with Mike. I don't think he'll be ass. I think he'll get better as the season progresses, but I don't think he'll be anywhere close to Patriots Gronk.
I don't know, because that last year with us, even though he still won the Super Bowl and he made a big play in the Super Bowl, he just wasn't himself.
Yeah, no, you're right.
All season, he just wasn't the dominant tight end he was.
Yeah, no, I think his peak has definitely passed, and I mean, I hope the best for the guy, but I mean, at the same time, though, like, he kind of came back when Brady left the Bucs, so fuck him. Let him be out.
But health aside, is he even going to be a number one option over O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate? Like, what does that look like?
Talk to that they might trade out those guys, or even trade one or two of them away. Because I guess they're all in on Gronk. I guess you have to be $10 million deep in the hole with them. So
yeah,
right.
It's been rumored that O.J. Howard wants out because he doesn't want to be the number 2 guy.
Yeah, I could see that.
And let's just say, what a fantasy football fucking nightmare that team is going to be. There's targets everywhere.
Oh, man. That is going to be out of control.
People are going to pick Brady over Mahomes.
I'm just going to draft the whole roster. I'm just going to say fuck it, draft every single one in Tampa Bay. Their defense, everything.
Well, dude, they had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, both 1,000-yard receivers, fantasy dynamite with Jameis Winston throwing at them.
Yeah.
Come on, he went 30 for 30. That's pretty good in my eyes.
It's a record, bro.
Wild throwing 30.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever done it.
That ass.
I mean, I think that their volume will actually go down, though. They won't. I don't think they're going to throw that much with Brady. I think they would just literally – Jameis Winston was blindfolded out there just tossing hammers down the field.
He had the LASIK.
I can't believe he had the balls to fucking say it was his eyesight.
I know, that was out of control.
That's the thing, though. They still won 7 games, and a lot of those games they lost, they were close, but he threw pick sixes, and they lost because of it.
Because seeing 6'3" Mike Evans streak down the field is really hard to see.
It's straight out of Madden, like throwing a pick six
shit,
at the end of the game to blow it.
I can't see it, though.
Yeah, the colors
it's not red.
Yeah,
fuck it, Mike Evans is out there somewhere.
Really, what he did, he just tossed it up and hoped for the best. He was praying every throw. But you guys have any closing remarks? I think that we covered a lot.
Yep.
Here.
Vince frozen in time.
Frozen in time.
He's on X Games mode.
Who is?
Oh, you froze.
Oh,
you.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
No,
Can you hear me now?
No, yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have any closing remarks that you want to make? I feel like we covered a lot.
I just want to say, Ed, you made a lot of impact in this conversation. You just said that whatever the fuck you were eating. Baby face.
All right, boys. Well, thank you for tuning in. And this is a good podcast episode. Talked about some important shit. We'll have to see how it plays out. So thank you.